Have you ever just paused and wondered why we make the decisions we do? Especially with money, right? When there's risk involved. Why does one gamble feel like a smart move while another one just feels totally wrong? Well, it turns out there's this incredible theory that pulls back the curtain on the hidden rules our brains are playing by. It's called prospect theory.
All right, to really get this, let's play a little game. I'm going to give you a choice. Super simple. Option 1, I give you $45. Guaranteed, it's yours, no catch. Or option 2, we flip a coin. Heads, you win $100. Tails, you get nothing. So what's it going to be? Think about it for a second. Which one are you taking?
Okay, so if you picked the guaranteed $45, you're not alone at all. In fact, most people make that exact same choice. But here's where it gets kind of weird. According to traditional economics, that's actually the irrational move. See, the gamble, on average, is worth $50. So why on earth do we consistently go for the smaller, sure thing? That very question is what cracks open this whole fascinating world of how our brains really work when the pressure's on. Yeah, this little gap, we're going to call it the $45 puzzle. It's this perfect example of the massive difference between how economists think we should act and, well, how we actually act out here in the real world. And the key that unlocks this puzzle? It's prospect theory. This was the brainchild of two absolute geniuses, Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. And this wasn't just some small idea. This work literally won a Nobel Prize and kicked off the entire field of behavioral economics. Why? Because it showed our choices aren't driven by logic and spreadsheets. Nope. They're driven by some really fascinating and kind of predictable psychological quirks. And we're about to dive into all of them. So, how does this all work? Well, the first big piece of the puzzle is that we don't think in totals. We think in gains and losses. It's all about where you start from. Here's the really crucial part. We just don't think about things in absolute final numbers. It's not about your total net worth. Instead, everything gets measured against a reference point. Basically, your current situation, the status quo. The only question your brain is asking is this better or worse than where I was a second ago? Is it a gain or is it a loss? I love this analogy. Think of it like a thermostat. Your brain has a set point, which is just normal life. Anything that pushes the temperature up from there, that feels good. That's a gain. But anything that makes it drop below that set point, oof, that's a loss. And it feels really uncomfortable. It gets your attention immediately.
And this leads us straight to maybe the most famous, most powerful idea in all of prospect theory. It's all about the emotional kick we get from those gains and losses because, and this is so important, they are not created equal, not by a long shot. I mean, it's not even close. Psychologically, the pain of losing something is about twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining that exact same thing. That sting of a loss just hits us so much harder. It's like it has double the weight. Right. Put it this way. Losing $100 hurts about as much as gaining 200 feels good. Isn't that wild? To just break even emotionally, the potential gain has to be twice as big as the potential loss. Our brains are just fundamentally deeply wired to avoid taking a loss.
And we can prove this so easily. Imagine I offer you a simple coin toss. Heads, you win $100. Tails, you lose $100. You in? Probably not, right? For most of us, that's a hard pass. The fear of losing $100 just crushes the excitement of winning $100. Okay, but what if I change the deal? Same coin toss. Heads, you win $200. Tails, you still only lose $100. See? Now it feels different. Suddenly a lot more people are saying, okay, yeah, I'll take that bet. And this isn't just some fun little brain teaser. This drives huge financial decisions every single day. It's the reason for something called the disposition effect. This is where investors will hang on to a losing stock for way, way too long. Why? Because selling it makes that loss feel real, and that hurts. And at the same time, they'll often sell their winning stocks way too early just to lock in that feeling of a surefire gain. It's all about avoiding pain and seeking pleasure, even when it's not the most logical financial move. Okay, so we have our reference point, and we know that losses hurt way more than gains feel good. But there's a third piece to this puzzle that really twists things up. We are terrible at judging probability. It's like our brain sees risk, but it's looking through one of those wacky funhouse mirrors. So here's how that funhouse mirror works. For tiny, tiny probabilities, we blow them way out of proportion. We overweight them. That's why we buy lottery tickets, right? The chance of winning is almost zero, but in our minds, it feels bigger. It feels possible. And then we do the exact opposite for big probabilities. We underweight them. A 95% chance of success should feel like a slam dunk, but it doesn't. We get fixated on that tiny 5% chance that things could go wrong. Okay, so let's put it all together. We've got our starting point, we've got our fear of losses, and we've got our warped view of probability. When you mix all of those ingredients together, you get something incredibly powerful called the framing effect. This is where the way a choice is presented, the words you use, can completely flip our decision, even if the underlying facts are identical. And here's the classic experiment that shows this in action. Imagine this. There's a town. 600 people live there, and a deadly disease is about to sweep through. You are in charge, and you have to choose a plan to fight it. Okay, here's the first way to frame the choice. It's all about who you can save. With Program A, exactly 200 people will be saved, guaranteed. With Program B, you're taking a gamble. There's a 1 in 3 chance you save all 600, but a 2 in 3 chance you save no one. What do people pick? Overwhelmingly, they choose Program A. Why? Because it's framed as a gain. And when we're talking about gains, we don't like to gamble. We want the sure thing. All right, lock in that answer. Now watch this. We're going to look at the exact same problem. The math is identical. We're just going to change the words. Now the choice is framed in terms of losses. Program C, 400 people will die. That is a guaranteed certain loss. Program D is the same gamble as before. Now what happens? Faced with a sure loss, our thinking completely flips. We hate certain losses so much that we suddenly become risk takers to avoid it. Most people now choose Program D, the gamble. And here's the kicker, the part that's just mind-blowing. Saving 200 people is the exact same thing as 400 people dying. Program A and Program C are identical, and the gamble in B is identical to the gamble in D. Nothing about the outcome changed, only the words. We went from saving to dying. And that simple change in frame caused people to completely reverse their preference from a safe bet to a risky one. That is the framing effect. So let's just nail down the 3 big takeaways from all this. Number 1, we always judge things from our current reference point, not in a vacuum. Number 2, losses loom way, way larger than gains. They hurt about twice as much. And number 3, we have a totally distorted view of probability. We overestimate the long shots and underestimate the near certainties. And once you get these rules, you start seeing them absolutely everywhere. It's behind our financial decisions. It's why we buy insurance. It's why marketing slogans say, save $20 instead of price is now $80. It's even in how politicians and policymakers message their ideas to us. So from now on, when you're faced with a big choice, especially one with some risk, you'll know about the hidden rules your brain is using. You'll know the game it's playing. So the real question is, now that you know the rules, what decision are you going to re-examine?